Welcome to Maker Conversations. I'm your host, Tiff Marchand from NIGHTCARVER Designs. And today on the show, I have Kendra from Damn Rad Designs. Kendra is awesome. She is a huge nerd. She's quirky. She's hilarious. And she happens to be really talented as well. Kendra is not afraid to open her mind, talk about what is going on with her mental health, and is really open about talking about that. We didn't talk about it on the show today, though. We just kind of hung out. So I hope you guys enjoy listening to Kendra and myself just kind of chilling.
What's up?
How's it going?
It's going good. How are you?
That was too hard. The link was on the phone, and I was trying to get on one of the boys' iPads, and I was like, where's the app? They're like, we deleted it so we could get Minecraft. I'm like, you guys.
How old are they?
8.
Okay. Yeah. Ma, they needed the space.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, well, then just delete your 800 games. How about that?
Yeah. Did you just shake your boobs at me?
I did. I'm just getting ready. Let's shake off the dust.
How was your day?
Not bad. You?
Not bad, actually. I mean, besides having to run to the bank, to 2 banks, I had to do adult things. I was like,
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, it was annoying because I took off this week from work and I wanted to actually get some shit done. And then I'm like, first thing on my agenda was go to the bank,
That's the worst. You're like, I gotta leave the house even.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I already had to go bring the kids to school and then I actually have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
No.
I'm good. Especially since I'm excited for you to start playing with that machine.
I know I didn't even turn it on today. Like I said, I was gonna, but I spent a lot of time designing, which was good. And I edited 2 podcasts. So I was like, I forgive myself.
Yeah, that's still pretty productive, I'd say.
I like your door. Or what does it have you? What is that? Just some wood you put together?
It was a friend used it as a display for markets and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I told my husband I wanted to build a wall for the shop. And then we were thinking if we use drywall, we can't, because it's not permanent, right? But if we use drywall,
it's a structure, yeah.
Yeah, so I just needed a wall. So I was like, why don't we use what she had? And then it looks like I can do YouTube here or something.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, exactly. It's a presentation thing.
Yeah, I was like, instead of putting drywall up, that we're just going to wreck anyway. So.
Listen, we're content creators, and this is the kind of shit that we have to do for this,
True. Yeah. Let's make sure there's a backdrop.
Mm-hmm. Believe me, this was a plan. Although I was supposed to move Chucky down a little bit and I forgot to move him down. That is a big fail because you could have had him staring at you this whole interview. I don't know if that would have been a good thing. Ready?
I was like,
I'll just do that.
There we go.
All right, he's looking at you still.
That was so much easier. I thought that's neat though that you can just switch them around. Is that the wall control?
It is the wall control.
Man, I wonder
normally I can get it really easy, but I have to pull the whole thing out because you kind of just you just kind of pop it out, and then you have this. There's a technique is and then you just pull it out, and then you can move it around.
Do that again for me if you could.
Just like that. But no, it's dope. I can move all of these if I want to.
That's so rad.
Nothing is permanent.
I love it.
Yeah. No, when I talked to Richard, Mr. Wall Storage, he was the one doing all the interviews at WorkbenchCon.
Yeah.
I had mentioned the whole reason I'm redoing my room and all that and stuff. And he was on board because I told him I'm the whole plan. I'm like, I want to order these, but I can't afford them. I was like, but this is what I would do if I had them, And he was like, ooh, no one's ever done this kind of setup. I was like, yes.
Right? That's the name of the game.
Got to be original. Think of something different that no one's ever done. you know.
It's true.
You know who inspired me to do it was Morgan from Captain's Planks, because she did it for the spray paint, and I'm like, ooh, no one's done it for the regular paint.
Right.
So that's what sparked my mind. But how are you?
I am good, thanks. How are you?
Way better than I was like 2 months ago. Like I'm in a much better like headspace and stuff.
That's good.
Yes, I put my flashlight on by accident. Woo. But yeah,
Just like
no.
Chucky and flashlights. I feel like it's like a slumber party. We're gonna.
I was trying to mute my phone and the flashlight popped on. I'm just acting like a 40-year-old over here. That's fine. It's fine.
Love it.
It's like you hit a certain age, you're like, technology, what is that? No.
We're like that weird age where like we can still learn stuff, but our kids can still teach us stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like our parents aren't, like, we kind of grew up with tech, but like they're, yeah.
I don't know. Well, how old are you?
36.
36. So for you, it was, you grew up with more tech than I did. I'm 40, and it was at that age where everything was just coming into the world as I was like exiting certain levels. Like we got our first computer at like 16. Like I was like 16 years old. So like all those people who had it when they were like 12, it was a different world for them. It's just so funny. Like I was always at like my first cell phone was like in 2000. And now it was like, yeah.
And now it's like every other year there's a new one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what are you up to?
In general, or I'm thinking of all the things.
In general, what are you up to for you? How's that?
I put my stuff in a store for the first time tomorrow.
Ooh, tell me more.
Which is pretty exciting. Yeah, I got my business license and everything, and I'm going in a store, which kind of backfires.
Why?
I was like, okay, like everyone loves like charcuteries and epoxy river boards. So I was like, stock up. So when you do get in the store, you're like, I have a supply. And then I go and they're like, the other girl who puts charcuterie boards there are like way underpriced. Like, I don't understand how she's making money, and she's like totally saturated the market. Cause I'm like, well, like I can't charge what.
How's her stuff too? Is it's quality?
Like, I'm not saying it's bad, but
I a bad question. I apologize for putting you in that position. I was just curious.
Myself to a higher standard. Like when I make things, I hold myself to a higher standard. It's not bad. It's just like certain things that I wouldn't let slide. So I'm just like, well, that's great. So I had like 2 weeks to just like try to make some Mother's Day signs just so I could have. I was like, this sucks. This is not so great.
So you're in like generic sign mode, as I call it.
And I hate it.
Yeah, because there's no heart in it, but you got to do it because it's what sells.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm not gonna make my stuff cheaper, because someone else is cheaper. I'm still gonna put my stuff in there, but I wanted some like lower entry price points as well, because like it's a small town and like not everybody's gonna need a nice fancy charcuterie board or something.
Yeah.
But my husband has been really good because there's a lot of nice small towns close by that are like a little more bougie. So he's like, we'll just get you in those stores because like your stuff is good and you deserve to charge what you want to charge.
Yeah. So your market might not be your direct area, but more on a little bit outskirts. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you said it really well. So I'll try to find some stuff to keep in the store because it's really like it's a great deal to be in the store. Like considering what Etsy is right now, like.
Plus, it gives you local orders too. Like, even if they're only like an hour or two away, people will drive to pick that stuff up too, you know, like once you got a name for yourself in the area. Yeah,
and that's just it too. I think I gotta, because I'm so weird. I'm like, I don't want to put myself out there. But I'm like, you're on Instagram like every day, putting yourself out there.
Kendra, you're out there. You've been out there for a while, hon.
I'm out there.
Yeah. But no, that's cool. So this is the first time. Have you done markets before?
No, I helped a friend one time, but that was it. So I want to, but then I'm like, now I need to get like stock. Like I need to just make a million things, because I used to just like, people would say, hey, can you make me this? And I would make it. So I didn't have like a whole backlog of things, which sucked, because people are like, hey, do you have something I want to buy so-and-so a present? And I'm like, well, what would you like? And they're like, I need it by tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, it doesn't work that way. Yeah. So now I'm just gotta get a whole load of inventory, I guess. And yeah,
I like it though. So you're making a transition though, because like a lot of your projects are usually for your house or stuff that people just ask you from Instagram, I assume.
I've never actually
family
on Instagram, but like the last project I had was actually even another woodworker. Like he a cabinet maker, and he is amazing at what he does. But he's like, hey, my daughter wants a riverboard. Like, do me a solid, make another woodworker some woodworking stuff, and I'll give you my jigsaw. And I was like, done. I was like, sweet. So just it worked out really well, actually. I was like, because I needed a new jigsaw, so he knew that.
I love the jigsaw. I think it's an underrated tool. It's one of
the
best.
Like I did a lot of my first projects with the jigsaw. Like I don't know what it was, but I was like, it's small. Like,
but it's easy to maneuver. Like, I'm gonna start doing more hand gestures. I'm like, it's easy to maneuver. It's awesome. You can put different blades on it to cut different things. And like when you're in a pinch and no other saw is working, just grab the jigsaw.
Yeah, no, I'm like surprisingly, I'm not treating my own horn or anything, but like I took to the jigsaw really well. Like, and then so that transition to scroll saw, I'm like, well, this is a little harder.
Right, because with the jigsaw, you're pushing it, and with like you're like it's a different kind of push. It's like a two-hand push instead of
Yeah. Meanwhile, like the jigsaw stuff you're cutting is huge, and like scroll saw stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's just a small blade, though.
Yeah.
It's fun. Less intimidating to me than like a table saw.
Yeah, my table saw, like I didn't have a proper like workbench for like 2 years. So when I wanted to use my table saw, I had to like put it on this other like board that was on these like, saw horses, and it was like really high, and I was like already intimidated. So I was like, just not gonna use it. Like I'll work around it. But then I built a bench with it in, and I use it all the time now. And I was like, why didn't you do this sooner? Because like we made sure it was like the right height, and there's so much room to use it. And now I'm like, okay, well, I should have done that a couple years ago. Let's be honest.
Well, you just sound like, Melissa from like M2 Labs. I always mess up her last name. Garish. I want to say Garshi. Thank you. She did that video the other day with the table saw, and she was explaining like how she rigs it and stuff. I think it's awesome.
A hilarious video about that, like unboxing. Like it took her like 2 weeks to unbox it. She was just scared, so she did these like reels of just like looking at it, like the table saw, and just like, I'll just leave you for another day. I was like, that's funny.
Honestly, I might have to do one of those, like fake it, pretend like it was like, because I haven't touched. It's been there for 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks now, and I still haven't touched it.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, I'll get there.
I'm excited because I'm almost positive I know what your plan is. Like I know because when we talked my first time and we were talking, I think I asked like, hey, what do you want to do long term or whatever? And you said what I think you're doing.
We can talk about it, and I'll just cut it out. I'll cut it out because I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna blast out what I'm doing to all these woodworkers.
That's why I was like, okay, look, I didn't want to like say exactly what it was, but
yeah, I'm still doing the dojo, but I told him that I'm not going to fix the hole in the wall. He's got to fix that, and then call me when it's done. And this guy is a non-motivated dude, so I don't think it'll ever get done, which makes me sad because I do want to just finish it. But I'm like, I don't have time to come back here because you know how it is when you patch a hole.
Yeah.
You cut it out, you patch it, you mud it, then you have to go back the next day, mud it again. Then you have to go back the third day and mud it one more time. So that way it looks good. Cause it's always 3 coats and it takes like a full day to dry sometimes. So it's like, it's not something that you can do for something that's 30 minutes away from your house. So I was like, I'm not driving an hour each day to go and do some sanding. I'm like,
he can do that.
I'm like, just do it. It's your facility. You're there every day. Each day, do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, anyone can patch a hole in the wall.
Drywall is intimidating though.
It is.
Like our walls, we should have just put plywood up for the first 4 feet because our kids have it's outrageous. Yeah. And I'm just like looking at all of them, and I'm, as much as I hate to see them, part of me is like, if I fix that, there's going to be another one there in like 3 weeks. So we're just going to wait till they move out or something. I don't know.
Well, it's funny because like now that I'm quitting my job, it's like I just keep looking around the house and I'm like, I'm going to be here forever. I need to start finishing up this house because I redid the house 3 times already, but my kids have destroyed it so bad that the kitchen looks so gross because we had all those damn sticky things to keep the kids from opening the cabinets.
Yes.
Because we had, twins running around the house just like pulling on all of the cabinets. So then eventually you're like, they say it's not going to leave a mark, but it's going to leave a mark, but you do it anyways. So now I've got like, I have to sand down like all my cabinets and repaint them. And I'm like,
I know. I'm tempted to do that too, though, like to sand in all our cupboards, because I'm just like, ours are white. And like, we are not the type of people who should have white cupboards.
Mine are white too. It was a choice of mine. And I'm like, I don't like to clean. Why did I do white cabinets? I really just.
I'm like, when's the last time we had spaghetti? How is it here? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's been a while, and either I didn't notice it or you found something besides spaghetti to get on the wall. So I love it.
Yeah. Life with children. It's a lot of fun.
Twins especially. So fun. The kids start baseball tomorrow. I'm so excited. And like they have to wear helmets, and I'm like, no one is gonna be able to tell them apart.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
once the helmets are on.
Yeah, it's just like you see this, like, and you can't even tell them apart on a good day. It's gonna be so bad. So I'm gonna like vinyl them some names for their baseball helmets or something.
They're identical?
Yeah.
Okay.
99.9%.
And they still look exactly alike, no big differences.
Like to me, they're totally like they are 2 separate people. I 100%. Like if they're running around and like someone's wearing someone's t-shirt or whatever, then I totally mix them up. But like if we're having a conversation, I'm like, I know who you are.
You dress them in different colors when they were younger, because I would have totally done that.
Yeah, red for Riker and blue for Dax. And then now though that they just wear, they're like, well, I like red. And so then my dad's like, Riker, and he's like, I'm Dax. He's like you're wearing red, and he's like, I can wear what I want, Papa. Like, I don't have to wear red. Just like, oh, you guys.
That's so funny, but I could totally see that happening. I had my kids dressed, even though they're not identical, but still it's hard. There's 2 babies. It's hard to figure out which one is which. So Easton I did in green, and Chase I did in orange. So it was very different because like I had to. Yeah.
And then at least like even our other neighbors used to go like, Riker, he wears stripers, Dax, his patterns relax, because we used to have one as a solid and one was flat or whatever. I was like, that's a really good song. That's impressive.
That is very creative.
Yeah. About the funniest thing I think he ever said. I was like, okay, that's a good. So then that's something we started doing as well. But
what do you do for work? I can't remember. I know it's like online, social media. Is it as well, or? Yeah,
like I work for a marketing company doing like I'm an engagement specialist.
Okay.
So I have like different clients where I'm in charge of engagement on that account. So like when you talk to a company sometimes and you think you're talking to so-and-so. It could be someone like me who's like, hey, thanks for the response. Or what, you know, like,
what's up?
We can't wait for you to come to our brewery or something stupid, you know, like, and then I also do like go comment on accounts that I think would be good clients essentially, and then get relationships and cross bridges. And so like sometimes there was like a candy store, and so I was like talking to breweries and stuff because they prepackaged popcorn and things like that. So then
that's a lot of fun. Like I'm doing that now, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's neat because like you're being someone else without, like, you don't even think about it sometimes. Like you're just like, hey, like,
well, it's the same thing as an artist. You're just doing a certain thing for a client. Like you're just taking their branding and you're emulating their brand just verbally. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's true, because like for the brewery, they're German, so like I will say Prost, which is like cheers in Germany.
Yeah.
And like it's funny because you're definitely like representing them, and so you just have to make sure that you're not like doing like the bee when you should be doing the squirrel emoji, because you have to try to keep
you really have to think about it with that count.
Oh my gosh, it's like there's a lot, but it's I'm lucky that I can be at home and make my own hours essentially. So when like kids were home for COVID, it was just like, okay, like we can still do this. This is fine. It worked out really nicely. I'm sure there's lots of people who weren't that lucky, but it's fun too, because it's like, especially like one of them's a collective of vendors. And so it's my job to like comment on our vendors, and so it's just like what we do all day. I'm just like, I love this client, because like my job is to talk to their people, and like, so I like, it's literally just like a bunch of creatives all day that you get to encourage. I'm like, it's literally my job to like say, way to go, good job, and like that is awesome.
Well, I understand too though, like why you probably don't post that often and like on social media, because you're on there all day.
It makes it really tricky too, because you're like, I'm already here. I'll just do another.
I've been present all day.
I know. I was literally thinking the other day, I was like, it would be nice if I could just get someone to run my account, like take the photos and make the reels. As fun as it is to do that stuff, like I'm just like, I'd rather hang out, like talk to the people here, instead of put my time in making reels right now. Just, I'm like, I got this much time and I'd rather hang out with you guys. But
that's why, like, so I'm doing that May for Makers challenge, and I'm not doing really, I mean, maybe one of them will be some like pre-recorded stuff. I'm just taking literally 2 minutes and just going like, hey, I'm this person, and like answering it, like no effort. So that's where my goals are with that. Cause I'm like, it's an easy way to put more content out there, and gives you a reason to talk about certain subjects that you wouldn't like normally just talk about.
And then you don't have to like think about like what you're going to have to post. Cause it's like, oh, what do we do today? Do we just, it's like, okay, this is who I am. It like takes your brain out of the whole situation.
I know I'm trying to, I took the week off of work, and I'm like trying to pre-record some stuff so that I have some things to post for myself, because I'm like a little bit social media burned out just because of running the 3 accounts plus mine. And I'm just like, and I'm sure people will probably notice the pages had kind of sucked like these last 2 days. So I'm like minimal effort, push.
Post and ghost.
Yes. Cause like, exactly. Like usually I'll be in there replying to all the comments, but like, it's been busy.
You're like, I put something out so the algorithm can still see it. Like,
yes. Yeah. Well, cause like
algorithm.
Right now I'm, not to talk about Haven, but like it's getting real geared up right now. So it's exciting. Oh yeah. Everybody's like pumped. They're all commenting like crazy, which is awesome. And normally I'm in there engaging, but I'm like, I'm only doing it for an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. So I can only do so much in one day. And like, that's when you have to be like, it's probably more valuable for me to be browsing for content to share, or working on the promotional graphics. So like,
Yeah.
I've been like doing mostly graphics and minimal sharing because the graphics got to get done. There's like 36 speakers and there's like 12 mentors, 6 people talking during lunches. Like, and then I think there's 5 pre-Haven Zoom sessions that they're doing.
Oh, wow.
So like their schedule is like insane right now. So I've been like, oh, in Haven world right now. But
Right.
it's exciting. I like it.
Are you going to Haven?
I'm hosting it. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
It's so funny to say it. I'm hosting it. Yes.
I love it. It's like, how in the world do you add one more thing to your list? Like, I would just like to see how long your list is.
It's a few pages. It's a few pages. That's nothing.
I love it.
It's a lot and it's hard to balance, but like it's so worth it because I can't wait. I gave a 3 months notice to work, so I'm on like 2.5 weeks left now, and I like took off this week. So I'm all out of vacation to use. This is my last hurrah before I have to like grind out the next 2.5 months. But like the only reason I did that is because I want to make sure I have a good cushion of money before I'm not trying to be dumb. So I need a little cushion.
I love it. 3 months is a lot. Like, that's good because then it's like, hey, you have a deadline, but it also gives them lots of time and like,
yeah. And it gives me time to like work up to Haven and have some money and like try to save some money,
Yeah.
Try.
Do you know a lot of the people who are going to Haven, or is this a whole different thing for you?
A whole new ball game. I don't
know.
It's
more DIY, right? Is that how
I don't know any of these people. I mean, I do now that I've had the account since I started working it when we got back from Workbench Con. 3 days after we got back, I think. Yeah.
Wow. So it's been a couple months of dedicated hours.
Yeah, it's been 2 months, 1.5 hours to 2 hours a day of just like Haven. Like Workbench Con, I've been doing it. But that's not the important one right now. It's like it's like Haven is coming. So I gotta concentrate on that. I want to go full time for her so I can actually show her what I could do if I was doing it more than 1.5 hours to 2 hours a day. I'm like, oh
yeah.
So but like she made a good point is there hasn't been anything happening since COVID started. So you just don't have the funds yet. But when she has the funds, she's like, so like, I'm just going to prove to her how valuable. And then that's again, my 3-month goal.
That's a good goal.
Yeah. I'm excited, but I want to talk more about you. I mean, it's fun to talk about me, but what made you want to start making products and selling at places?
Well, I don't know about the selling part is pretty much so that I could afford my hobby. I just want to make stuff. And so that costs money. But I also don't want to be like a factory. Like I can't just like do one thing over and over again. I just can't. It's not who I am. But with starting the whole thing, it's just like I did it a while ago one Christmas, and I got burnt out like so hard because I was just like, this isn't like filling any juices anymore. Like this is depleting me, and that's not the goal. So that was a good lesson to not just try to make a lot of one thing, or I don't know. I'd rather just like make things and be like, here, if you want it, you can have it. You know what I mean? Like, this is where I'm at. But when I started like making, there was this awesome group of women. A friend invited me to this group. They were going through this book called The Artist's Way. I think it's by Julia Cameron. And it's about like unblocking your creative juices or whatever and finding your creativity. And we were there and I was like, they're like, what's your medium? And I was like, I don't really have one. All these artists are like, what? Like, why are you here? Like, I don't know. I really want to work with wood, but I don't know. And like, to them, that was so foreign. Like painters.
Well, I say, were they all painters?
Yeah, painters or dancers, or like leatherwork. So there was a couple of different things, and then they were like wood, and I was like, I kind of want to, and this older lady in the group who I absolutely love is just like, I'm giving you permission to make bad art. And I was like, what is that? She's like, just make it. And if it sucks, it sucks. Like, end of story. Just tell yourself you can make bad art. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try it. And then I was like, oh my God, I freaking love this. And then all of a sudden it was like the end of the story. Like, that's just
what made you want to play with wood besides the obvious?
I like wood.
Yeah.
I have like, I used to work construction and like at a welding shop. So like I've used tools and I didn't notice a lot of, like, I didn't realize how prevalent using wood for art was because I wasn't on Instagram. So I had no idea that a lot of people do this. In my head, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be the first. No, I just like
revolutionary.
Right? And then all of a sudden I saw all these other people also doing it. I'm like, this is an actual thing. And these are my people. I have found them. I found the people I've been looking for my whole life.
Yeah. So not everybody probably have heard like your other interview that we did, but can you tell me a little bit about like how you got into welding and stuff? Like you kind of just glazed over it a little bit, but what kind of career path have you had? I'm kind of curious.
I just like, I did a bunch of.
Yeah. What'd you start with?
I worked at like a liquidation place and then I was like 16 and like they ended up making me a supervisor like in like 2 years. And I was like,
perhaps you're a little bossy. They recognized it.
I think so. I'm very bossy. No, but then I switched. I ended up working at like, I was in university and I did pipelining for a while. So that was so much fun. I was like a band setter on an NDT crew. So like we were doing non-destructive testing, checking the welds on the pipes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was sweet. Cool. Like I was literally just the labor. Like I had to move all the heavy stuff and do all the heavy things. And then the guys who made real money just came and put a machine on everything.
You were the grunt worker for minimum wage. Yeah.
And then I worked at a pet store. And then I ended up, right? I mean, I got to do pets all day. It was great. And then I ended up just deciding like I finished university and I was like, okay, I could find something in my field or I could make actual money. And I was like, I know I can make money doing construction. I know lots of projects happening right now. I know a lot of people. And then that worked out really well. And then we were all working on one project and like one company would kind of like snipe me and they would be like, we want you with us. Like, I was like, okay, I can do that. And then when they were leaving, another company that was still working in that building was like a welding company. And they were like, well, since they're leaving, like, do you have another job after this? And I was like, with you guys, that's what I'm doing.
Man, so people just throw jobs at you.
They used to. What happened? No, I'm just joking. Like working with a lot of guys, like I know a lot of men who are really hardworking, but like being the only girl on a lot of work sites, like if I wasn't working my ass off, things were said about me, right?
Yeah.
But like who I am is I work my ass off. So there's lots of times where like I'd be the only one working and there's 3 guys standing around. So like another company is going to be like, we want her.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
yeah. We see the one that's not sitting down all day, the one that's just constantly hustling.
Yeah. So when I started working at the welding shop, at first it was a lot of like fire watch.
Did you have a hat and a whistle?
Right. Yeah. Like got my extinguisher. It was
just walk around like this.
Pretty much. Fire? And then you're like, this is going to be exciting. And then there's no fires for X amount. And you're like, this is so boring.
You fill out your log every day. No.
Yeah, like no word of a joke. I literally, it's gonna sound so stupid. I would like practice math because I would see the blueprints for what we're building, and I'm like, oh, okay. So like, if we're gonna have to put this beam here and this beam here, and they're X amount of inches apart, then like, how many inches is that total? Because I had like nothing to do, and then when they would like come over and be like, hey, we need to do this. Like, do you know where it goes? I'm like, yeah, 3 feet that way. And they're like, how did you know that? I was like, because I'm literally doing the math on your sheet because I have nothing to do. And so.
Well, you went from a job that you were constantly moving to something that you were just sitting at a desk. That had to be so hard.
Oh, that's crazy. It was, but like we got to be in the field. So like I would be doing the fire watch like while there's like literally probably super like people welding in confined spaces, and like it was a lot of excitement all the time.
Do you
And
weld, or did you ever take it up?
Well, I'm not like ticketed by any means, but I love welding. And if I had like a garage or like better venting and stuff, I 100% would have
start
some
welding. Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see you
love it.
making some cute stuff. And
Oh, I know. I would like, they called it like arts and crafts time when it was like lunch. I would like eat real quick, and then I would go take nuts and bolts and like make a dog, or like I made a hand out of bolts, and
out of
like
gold?
out of bolts.
Oh, okay, out of bolts. Okay.
Yeah, so there was like a tibia, or not a tibia, but the two
Tibia.
arm bones. Yeah, I was thinking tibia, but I think that's your leg. So now I'm like, I don't even know. But yeah,
I don't know anymore.
It was like a Terminator hand. I did all sorts of fun things, and they were just like, oh, arts and crafts time. And I'm like, it was just always in me to make. Like I was like, wherever I am, I'll figure it out. Like,
yeah, I saw like while you're at Workbench Con, the kids made was it a dog out of bolts?
Old flowers. That was the
sweetest
thing ever.
Yeah, that was really cute.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute. I like had this like incredible experience at Workbench Con, like refilling my creative soul with like tons of people who were doing the same. And then I come home and like the house was clean, and like they made me those flowers out of like spigots, and I was like, I'm living the dream. I was like,
yes, you are.
Love it. Yeah, Workbench Con was a beast. That was like,
it was so fun.
Yeah, I can't even describe it. People were like, how was it? I was like, you don't even know how good it was. Like, I can't even possibly describe.
Look to the left, there's someone that you might know. Look to the right, there's someone that you might know. Like, it's just surrounded by people that you see every day on the internet, but in person, like surreal.
So natural. It was like, so many people, you're like, it's literally your first time meeting them, but you're literally talking like it's been 3 years, because that's what it has been, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it was so crazy, because normally I'm not like if people are all hanging out, I have like social anxiety, and it's not necessarily my jam.
You know, I knew that you did, but you did not have that at Workbench
Con. I was getting to. And I realized like it's just the energy, right? Like I felt very social with all of you, because like you're my people. Like we talked about like, how are you gonna like start a blog or blah, 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 blah. Like, and there was like conversations that I was interested in, and it wasn't superficial. There was like no, how's the weather? Like everything was like informative, and it was conversations that were epic. So yeah, like I was totally into hanging out with people there. And I'm like, I swear, I am antisocial. Everyone's like, okay. Yeah. You're dancing and even drinking, Kendra. You're not antisocial.
Before we all started dancing, right? They were playing like really bad music. It was just like weird, like techno lounge music or whatever. And we were all sitting at a table, and like everybody's energy was just like down, like super down. And we're all just sitting there, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm hosting this. I got up and walked up onto the DJ stage, and I was like, can you please play some Aaliyah, some Mary J. Blige, some 90s jams? Like, we need it. And he's like, oh, I'm like, how rigid is the schedule? Like, did she tell you exactly what you had to play? And he's like, kinda. I'm like,
doesn't matter.
I'm like, let's just get in trouble together. Like, it was just really funny. And he was like, all right, let's do it. Like, that DJ was dope. Once I told him, like, I asked him to do that, he was just like, he's like, I'm gonna ease into it, just let you know. I'm gonna play some songs that are just gonna ease in. I'm like, and then once he started getting people on the floor, he was so pumped. But the whole point of that was, on the table, I go to people, I'm like, guys, I'm normally like, I don't dance at things, but right now I have to go run out there. I'll be back. And like, I didn't go back for like an hour. Occasionally I checked in on my husband. I'm like, hi.
Are you good? Okay. Yeah.
He's like, you left me at a table of people I don't know. He's like, it was fine, but still, you just left me.
You were gone. We must have come at the right time, because like we went to get food, and it took ever. And I was like worried about, I was like, I want to get back and hang out. And then we came in and you were like on your way to the dance. We're like, we came in at the best time ever.
Oh, yes. The energy was perfect. You came running
Yeah.
out with me. It was great.
Yeah, I'm in. Whatever you're doing, let's dance. I didn't realize it was just starting the excitement. We walked in at like the best time.
You brought the energy. Let's talk about that. That's what it was.
Yeah. No, it was a blast. Like the dance floor alone was
Yeah.
the time. It was hilarious.
Never did I think that we'd all be dancing together. Like
I
that was
know, right?
amazing.
I'm impressed with how many people had the whole thing. Like just, yeah. I see why I surround myself with makers all the time. Like now I'm like, now that I have a business, like how can I work on like writing off the trip to work and go?
I'm in the same boat. I have to like legitimize who I am and stuff. Like I'm still not like a legal business. So I have to do all of that still. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I put that off for so long.
Oh yeah, me too. My whole life.
Yeah.
Time to fess up and do some stuff. What made you decide to legitimize it? Because you wanted to start doing the set, like actually selling?
Yeah, like I know you didn't have to have it to sell, but just I think in my own head it made it a little more. I was like, if I do this, maybe I'll put a little more energy into it.
Yeah, it's a great motivation.
Except for now, I'm like have all this like pressure. I'm like, now I need to do all this stuff. What the hell? I don't want to talk to insurance about this stuff or bank accounts or but it's time, I think. But I'm actually really excited because so I was trying to pump out those signs for the Mother's Day thing just to get the shelves. And then I like snuck away and power carved and like this random scrap thing. And now I've been like working on it for a couple days and I'm like, I'm just going to power carve. And
I'm going to definitely save some time this week for me to power carve something. Yeah. Because I haven't in so long. And it's just like, it's a feeling. It's just like freedom. Yeah.
I lose time when I power carve. Like the second I'm holding the grinder, it's just like, boop, and it feels comfortable. And I'm like, that's what I need to be doing because nobody's doing that around here anyway. And if it's what I really like, why would I just be making these stupid things I don't want to make? They're not stupid. They're great. And people will love them. Like they are great. But I just feel like there's 100 people that like 100 people can do that. I want to do what I want to do and not just sell things because that's what sells. And the more I do that, I think the more I will.
I was going to say, like, I did the sell things that just sell for years and it was draining, but it brought money in and it helped my family out. So it's like, well, but eventually you have to stop it and you have to pivot and do stuff that you actually want to do. So what are you going to power carve?
I just did these random spirals. Like it's funny because I talked about earlier bad art. Like that's what I'm telling myself with this because I'm always scared to try something new because I'm like, oh, like I'm gonna suck at it. But it's like, yeah, you will. Like that's how you learn. And I'm so terrible about telling myself that. So like this piece is my bad art piece because the only thing I ever really power carved was like the flags that I'm
right.
Yeah, and it's very like the same shape over and over again. So I don't consider like, I'm not a power carver. Like I have done a lot of power carving, but it's not
until you actually experiment and play. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. I'm like, let's try texture because I got a saber-tooth fur at Workbench Con from Sadie. I listened to that podcast today. By the way, you guys are awesome with pigtails and everything. I love it. That's another good one.
I like pigtail braids. I should have specified. The pigtail braids is my fave.
I should have come in like, hey, I hear you like these.
Ooh, for me?
Love it.
I would have liked it.
So I got that burr from her. And that's what kind of sparked me.
What shape did you get?
It's flat. It's almost like a cone.
Oh, sweet.
Doing more of these. God.
Wait, sorry.
It was awesome.
A flat cone?
Yeah, it's upstairs. I'm not. I won't try. I'll show you later. So it's flat on the bottom, and then it goes to like the 1/4 inch shaft. It's like a cone without the top. Anyway, I'm terrible.
I'm just enjoying the hand motions.
I am part French, so I like gesticulate quite a bit. Yeah.
So am I, half Italian, half French. Ooh.
Like using my hands.
I didn't hear you. Don't worry, it didn't come over.
Okay.
That's so funny.
Innuendo is just.
I like innuendos. That's fine. I'm excited that you're power carving. That's cool.
I'm like, okay, gotta talk to Tiff, gotta talk to Sadie. Yeah, because like I love the grinder. Like I don't have a die grinder yet.
I don't either, actually, and I really want to get one.
Yeah, I'm thinking because I think for the bigger burrs you need a die grinder.
Yeah,
right?
yep. To get the 1/4 inch shanks, you have to have the die grinder because the 1/8 is only going to fit like your Dremel or like your works tools, things like that. But yeah, because
like
Katie has a lot of die grinders. Like that's I think what the die grinder is one of her favorite tools.
I could see why.
Yeah.
Like do I need another tool? I will always tell myself yes, but I'm just like, but the grinder, because I used to do that for welding. So like for me, I'm more comfortable with the grinder.
I love the grinder. I do. I think the die grinder though, it has its advantages if you're going to be like texturing and and adding like the curves and stuff. But I'm all about like the 2-inch angle grinder and the 4-inch angle grinder. Like I love them.
The 4-inch, it just takes off so much meat. And I just really enjoy it. I don't know. It feels so good to power carve. I like had to jump into coveralls. My husband got me coveralls, like the fire retardant ones, just because it's just like the whole thing, and I can like buckle up here. So like sawdust gets in, and I still find it in my bra somehow. I'm like, how the hell did you get there?
Welcome to power carving. It'll make you shake your bra out.
You literally like dust off your. Anyway.
I'm gonna cut that one out since they are a sponsor of this podcast. Maybe I should leave it in. Maybe I should cut it out. I think that's gonna be the Patreon special right there.
I love it.
Yeah, no, they did. I was talking to Sabretooth today, and they offered to sponsor this podcast too. I was like, hell yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. I'm like, that's an extra $100 a month. Like,
that's amazing.
I'll take it. It.
That's incredible though.
I know.
It's not only the money, but just someone being like, I have this much faith in you.
Yes. Yeah. They're really supporting me too. Like I see myself working full time or even like a part-time position at Sabretooth. Like
that's awesome.
I'm like, where am I going? I don't know, but it's cool to have options right now. So
it's just literally like you see yourself as like a contractor, like you contract services.
Exactly.
Like for engagement, that's what I do. I literally I'm a contractor, but you also just contract for all these other brands and stuff, and then you can contract as your company,
myself.
Right?
As my freaking self.
If
or
there's
as
anything
my new company,
give it to everything else.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to you more about that offline because I think you have so much insight on that world. What got you into that world? I'm really curious. It's like, did you just apply for a random job and got sucked into it? Like, how'd you get into that?
Not even. I was approached because I'm so incredibly engaging. No, no, my friend.
You really sold that.
I was gonna go with it, but I was like, too many people know me. They're gonna be like, no. But it's awesome. So my friend Chelsea, she does woodworking. So sometimes she would contract me to so she has a laser. So she would cut out shapes and then give me wood, and I would like make design. So I would put the frames on the backers and stuff.
Okay.
And so I used to contract work from her that way. So she'd be like, I need 50 signs, here's wood, and I would make the signs, and she would glue her laser stuff on.
Nice.
And so she's like, hey, so that's her side hustle. And then her main gig is marketing company. And so she's like, I'm growing too much. Like I need somebody to do this because I can't keep up with that. And I was like, well, I could try it out and see if it works. And then boom, it was like just worked really well. So like we have like both sides of the like she needs woodworking or marketing, like we can both fit really well. So it worked really nice because it's like one person for both jobs, which worked really well.
I feel like you're a secret badass to a lot of people. They don't realize
I'm a secret badass.
Yeah, because you don't talk about this stuff out on your page or anything. I don't think, at least.
No.
It's kind of like a hidden life. They don't know that Kendra's got all these little inner workings and deals going on in the background, and that you're making steps forward. I think it's cool.
Well, thank you. I don't. Yeah. There's just too many things. Probably. I'm just like, we never talk about it because I don't have enough time to think about it.
Yeah. Well, then you have 2 kids to worry about too. You know, you're working your job around it, and you're trying to have a side business.
Yeah. It works well for us too. Like, I'm not sure everybody would work well here, but for me, it's perfect because I like having the freedom to do whatever works really well for me. Like,
yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Well, because you can put the time in when you have it.
Yeah. Or like schedule, like, oh, we have baseball, so I got to work earlier, and just instead of being like, I can't go to your baseball game, it's like, no, I'll just change my hours and make it work.
Well, that's where I am right now, where it's like, it's hard to go to the extra activities because I have to fit it in. I have to fit work in. It's like, I'm like, guys, it's only for 3 months. It's only for 3 months. It's only for 3 months.
Right.
You know, it's like,
so many things. I don't know how you're handling it so well. I don't think I could do all of those things simultaneously.
It's kind of nice. I kind of like it. Maybe I'm weird.
No.
It's because, you know, I think it's because the opportunities are so exciting that it's forcing me to just keep pushing. Now I'm exhausted. I'm not gonna lie to you. Not like this is a smile, but you know, I'm tired. I don't know. I was gonna say I would rather be chilling on the couch, but also this is a lot of fun. So maybe not.
I know. I think a lot of times where I just need to tell myself like to get off the couch, because I'm like, when we go do things, or like when I just jump in the shop instead of like watching a show, it's always 100 times better. So I totally get like, yeah,
it's a battle.
It is.
All right. I hope you enjoyed getting to know Kendra. She is an amazing person and one of my favorite people out there. She is just open and honest, and well, she's damn rad. Anyways, now that I got that joke out of there, thank you so much to our sponsor, Sabertooth. Really appreciate you and everything that you do. If you don't already have their newsletter subscription, go sign up, because once a month they send out a 25% off coupon. It's good for 24 hours, so it's like a quick thing, but it's totally like worth it, because when else are you gonna get 25% off your whole order? If you can't wait for that and you want to jump into carving right away, then just use code NIGHTCARVER10 in all caps to save 10%. A huge thank you to all of the patrons, and including Ricky from Ricky TV, who just signed up. Really appreciate you, man, and I hope everybody enjoyed his interview that happened last week. I also don't remember if I shout out Lee Ullman from Regal Street, so if I did not, here is your shout out, my friend. He is an amazing dude. He's been on the show as a co-host, and he's a great follow, especially on Fridays. I mean, the guy makes music videos every week for us. And just want to give you a heads up, I have some new episodes of Carver Conversations out right now. So there are currently 4 episodes out, the most recent one with Eric Curtis. So if you haven't checked those out, please do. It really helps me out too to get those listens, to show them that the show is a hit. And yeah, so I appreciate you all. Don't forget, NIGHTCARVER, all caps, saves 10% on wall control. Other than that, have a great day, everybody.